All right, so my name is April Wolf. I'm the Therapeutic Recreation Specialist for the City of Reno. This is our monthly virtual spinal cord injury Lunch and Learn series. And this is a partnership with the High Fives Foundation, Renown Rehab, the VAC or Nevada Healthcare System, and City of Reno. So each month we try to bring a virtual topic speaker related to spinal cord injury. And this month we're excited to have Jeremy McGee from the Unpavement. He's also an individual with spinal cord injury, and he'll tell his story shortly. Just wanted to go over some housekeeping before we get started. Obviously, everyone has done multiple Zoom meetings, so we just ask that you keep yourself on mute during the presentation. I'll be monitoring the chat, so if you have any questions you would like to ask our speaker, feel free to drop those in the chat, and I'll try to monitor that as we go through. And then Jeremy has offered it to open up to questions at the very end. So if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to take yourself off of mute and ask any questions that you may have. This session is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Reno's website and our Facebook page following this presentation. And also, if you need closed captioning, that is available at the bottom of your screen. You can enable closed captioning if needed. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our guest speaker this month, Jeremy McGee.
Hello, everybody. I am hailing from not so sunny San Diego at the moment. Thanks for having me on a pretty historic day, actually. Big things happening. No matter what side of the fence you're on, we're all affected and all have our heartstrings tugged at the retiring of Philip Rivers. That's a joke. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Just a quick background on me. Born and raised San Diego native. Was working towards being a career lifeguard, and was actually had the papers in front of me to sign to become a Navy SEAL. Got kind of cold feet and said, let me think about it. And 2 weeks later, I was paralyzed in a motorcycle wreck. And I almost did not live through it. I was actually bleeding to death in the street. I could feel my hands and my face going cold really fast. And as a career lifeguard, I assessed my injuries. There are many of them. And I knew it was a serious situation. And really all I wanted to do was go to sleep. The pavement just felt warm and inviting, and I started to fall asleep. And my thought was that I wanted everybody to know that I felt peace and I was okay. And there just happened to be a group of paramedics eating tacos at a taco shop right there. I mean, how long does it take to throw your food down and run across the street? I mean, seconds. My little moment there in the street, although it seemed long to me, was really, really fast. They backboarded me, shoved me in the ambulance, had me sign a little piece of paper, stuck me with something. I don't know what it was, to prep me for surgery, and I was out. And I woke up. They had me in surgery in under 20 minutes, saved my life. And I woke up in the MRI tube, and a lot of you know the story from there. From your own stories. Stuff is not easy, but you figure it out. That was how I landed in a wheelchair. I'm a T10 paraplegic, so I'm super lucky. I can maybe not so young anymore, but at the time I was pretty young and strong, could do anything. So I'm lucky that I broke my back and not my neck. And also that I know what I'm waking up to every morning, you know? I also am known as like as a mountain biker. That's kind of the identity that I have come to adopt, and what my life is mostly comprised of. But that's not necessarily who I am. My number one sport is surfing. I grew up surfing. I love being a waterman. I love paddling, getting close to whales. There's something about being in the ocean that's just different from anything else. And I'm actually not a mountain, don't consider myself a mountain biker. I consider myself a runner. And my bike is how I now trail run. And I'll get into more about that and the equipment and my journey with that as well. With that said, yeah, April, if anybody has any questions during, send them over to April. And April, you know, you can decide if you want to like ask me right then or wait till the end or whatever. But anyways, thanks for being here, you guys. It really means a lot to me. I put together a little presentation for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and start the presentation. Let's see, let me make sure I have the right thing selected. All right. Here we go. And then this is just a saying that I kind of use. It's based on a quote from an author that I really admire. You guys see my screen and everything okay? Everything's working? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. And I'll get more about that. But basically, for me, it's all about having a relationship with nature. And it's all about being active outdoors. Those are things that are really, really important for our lives. Let me, let's see. My screen is not wanting to switch slides right now for some weird reason. There it goes. Okay, let me go back one slide. Forgive me. Here we go. Oh my God, there's a lag on it. That's what's happening. So in 2012, I had the pleasure of, just on the subject of me being an adventurer, a little background on me. In 2012, I had went on a really cool expedition in the backcountry. We made a documentary film about it. I basically climbed that mountain in the background that I'm looking at. This is the poster and DVD cover. And if you want to know more about that film, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'll just share a little bit of the story. But if you want to know more and see the teaser video, go to dropinproject.com. Really, really fun project. And that's normally what I'm asked to talk about is that expedition. I'm just going to share a quick little, actually, no, I'm not. Here's a picture of me climbing. Basically what we decided, it was months of training and figuring it out. And basically what we decided was I was going to lay prone in a plastic kid sled. We attached a handlebar to a Jumar ascender, and I cranked frickin' pull-ups up this couloir. What can I say? It was an amazing experience. It was the hardest thing I ever done. We camped at 10,000 feet. And in the morning, every single pull-up hurt because there was no warm-up, there's no nothing, there was just jumping to it. In the afternoon, every single pull-up hurt because I've been doing pull-ups all morning. My body shut down on that mountain. And there were some dark moments, but I learned that there's something inside of us that can push us past physical possibility and what our body tells us we can do. And I learned that on that mountain. At the top of this mountain, there's a registry. It's just a little like journal, like rolled up and stuffed into a steel can that you're supposed to sign. And you're supposed to save space because you want this thing to last forever. But everybody up there was telling me, it was a crew of 15 people that went up there with, everyone was saying, write 2, 3, 4 pages, man. This is a big deal. I was like, no, man, this is simple. This is very, very simple. And I wrote the date, signed my name, wrote the phrase, do what you love, period. Because that's the point for all of our lives in this crazy little world, no matter what it is. Figure out what our goals are, what we want to do, and start doing the little steps every single day to get there. That's what our lives are about. So that's why I wrote that. And everybody that sees that from now on, if they know the story, will see that and know what that's about. Oh, that's funny. I did a little Zoom effect. I forgot I did that. Here's the crew that went up the mountain with me. I didn't know a lot of these people before this expedition, and got to know them really, really well. We went through a lot together, a lot of arguing, a lot of not agreeing, and a lot of going through some physical pain together. And I like to use this phrase when it comes to getting our goals accomplished. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This is something I try to live by. It wasn't just me on that mountain, it was a crew. And in our lives, if our goals are all about us, it's probably time to rethink them. This is an old African proverb that I really like to share. Um, okay, enough about that. That was a long time ago. What is going on now? Why is my life all about mountain biking and trails? How did this come about? Um, and this is a quote. This is, well, eco psychology is something that is very, very real. This is the study of our relationship with nature. And here is the crazy thing nowadays is that studies are proven that mental well-being is not only helps, but is vital in a relationship with nature. Not only helps, but is vital for mental well-being. This is Western medicine that is saying this. This is what studies are showing, and especially because we've got these awesome devices, these things where we can accomplish so much today and enable us to do so much. And because we're on them so much, it is that much more important that we have a relationship with nature. And it is now proven that it is a vital part of our mental well-being, right up there with, eating good food. It's super important. Here we go. And here's the quote that I wanted to share with you. When we are away from nature, something changes in us. And I can't really explain it, but I know from experience that when I'm not out there, I get weird. I get depressed. I get dark. I get blue. I get gloomy. And those emotions are, normal, and when I do feel that way, I know what to do to help with that. It might not solve everything, but I know that if I at least get outdoors, um, and not only exercise, but touch the ground, lay on the ground, get in the ocean, get dirty, that really helps with that feeling, and has pretty much become the whole the the mantra that I live by, what my whole life and everything I do and work so hard on is based on. Hence the birth of the Unpavement Project. Because as a wheelchair user, I believe that a relationship with nature should not depend on concrete. That's ridiculous. That for wheelchair users, that's usually the case. In this equipment, these bikes, adaptive mountain bikes, have changed that. I mean, full suspension, power assist, amazing gearing. Things aren't perfect, but it's really cool that now us as wheelchair users can get outdoors and not only exercise, but have a relationship with nature. It's super important. So I'm going to share a little video with you that I put together. I have a YouTube channel documenting trails for adaptive riders, but as I have learned that I missed my calling as a thespian in life, I didn't grow up with any parenting. My parents were divorced at a very young age. My dad was a alcoholic, And my mom was all she could do to, just always working to support 3 kids, 2 boys. I just ate everything in the house. So I didn't really have any direction growing up. And so with that, I just followed the tide, followed the flow, and did what was cool as a teenager. And so I ended up playing football, which I really loved. I grew up playing football. I did really good at it, but I was never going to take it anywhere. If I would have had the parents that showed me, I'll just go back a slide till I start the video, that what I was good at and what I could have taken somewhere, and had some sort of direction, and encouraged me to be, the person that I am inside, I probably would have ran cross country and joined the drama club. I would have been one of those guys. So the YouTube channel has turned into kind of a fun thing where I get to, be in front of the camera, which I really enjoy, and show my personality. And it's a little off color. It's pretty fun. So anyways, I made this video to kind of explain the Unpavement project.
Welcome to the Unpavement. I'm Jeremy McGee, and I'm a paraplegic. Woohoo! I've got a sweet mountain bike that gets me out on the trail, but I've gotten into trouble with it out there. It's good to have friends, but sometimes I ride alone, and I don't know where I can go safely. The information just does not exist. So I'm on a mission to document trails for adaptive riders. I came up with a simplified rating system that was adopted by Trailforks, where I input information and identify potential dilemmas, so that someone like me can use the app like anyone else. I also have another channel with uncut footage, so you can watch me ride the entire trail top to bottom. I also have a trail highlights playlist and do video tutorials and gear reviews.
I'm going to share with all you crybabies out there how to install a cush core from a wheelchair.
I also do trail music videos. On this channel, we ride, but we also end up having some fun.
Touch cans.
Touch cans, not hands.
I don't know if that's okay.
So hopefully you are informed, entertained, and inspired.
All right. So yeah, I have gotten into some really precarious situations out there on the trail. As cool as these bikes are, they are limited and shit happens. As you saw in the video, I've even been helicoptered out. I've had to call 911 3 times. Imagine being a paraplegic and you're upside down in a creek, in bushes. Who knows if there's snakes around? And there's water in the creek, and you've got to get out of your bike, get it flipped over, and from sitting on the ground, get it back to a spot where you can maybe get back into it. And that takes an hour. And then you get back in, you flip over again right away. That's the kind of situations I've been in. Imagine turning that thing around on narrow single track where there's a drop off. It's almost impossible. I've been there, done that. I got caught in a like semi flash flood situation one time. Oh man, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I actually live in a garage right on the water in San Diego, and the laundry room is next door, and someone's just went in there to do laundry. It's kind of loud. I don't know if you guys can hear the door opening. Anyways, flash flood situation. I ended up going for a ride. I didn't look at the weather ahead of time. Started raining super hard. I ended up breaking my chain I was in kind of a dry creek bed. Well, it wasn't fully dry. There was some water in it. So I was sitting in the water trying to fix my chain. The rain started pouring down super hard, and I hear this like kind of crack sound, and I look up, and all the embankment broke, and all this water came rushing in, and instantly I was in chest deep water, sitting on the ground. My bike is completely submerged, and that was a shitty situation. These are the kind of things that have happened to me out there. And I jumped online, and I was like, where can I ride? Where can I go? Because I travel for speaking with my bike and stuff. And when I do that, I like to ride where I'm at. And so I'm alone. I ride alone a lot. I'm like, where can I ride alone? You know, where an adaptive rider can ride alone versus where they can ride with somebody is a big difference. And the information is not out there. There's some. There is a little bit of information out there, but not really. So I called up Trail Forks. Trail Forks is the #1 mountain bike trail information resource. They have an app, and if you're a mountain biker, odds are you have the app, and that's what you use for your trail information and routing on trails and everything. And to give you perspective of how big Trail Forks is, they're owned by a company called Pink Bike, and Pink Bike is to mountain biking as Facebook is to the world. If you're a mountain biker, odds are you have a Pink Bike profile. That's where everything mountain bike is bought and sold. It's a forum. They're huge, is what I'm saying. And they said, yes, let's do it, but it needs to be simple. And that's the thing, is there's other people out there doing the same thing, but it's very complicated and really hard to digest. And the thing is the end user, most people aren't going to do detailed research on trails before they go out. So there's all this awesome information, but it ends up not even being used. Most people just go to Trail Forks, look for recommended routes, they watch video, and maybe they'll skim a blog or something like that. That's about it. And most people actually don't even do that. They're going to rely on signage, actually, which is another thing I'll get to. I think that might even be the next slide. But here is just a quick synopsis of the rating system I've come up with. It's evolved over the years. Super simple, duplicatable, easily adoptable, which is being adopted mostly across the board with a lot of the other trail resource apps. AMTB stands for Adaptive Mountain Bike. There's basically 3 levels, 1, 2, 3. And all this does, we're not recreating the wheel here. All this does is answer basically all the other information, topo profile, a lot of terrain features, things like that already exists. All this does is answer the question, do you need a support rider or not? AMTB 1, no, you don't need a support rider. AMTB 3, yes, you do. And AMTB 2 is everything in the middle. That's where there's a maybe, and that's the gray area. AMTB 0, we just recently added because there's a lot of wheelchair pathways out there for manual wheelchair, power wheelchair. Those are the type of pathways that AMTB 0, that's good for that. And then the red, not rated, don't go there. That's what that's for. And now, basically, and this is for if you've got a crew, an equipment, training, determination, you can get anywhere. Obviously, bloody couloir for me. But what this rating system is for finding the best experience for mountain biking, not mountaineering. So stuff that's red and not rated, you can still get there, but it's going to take a lot more work. It's probably not the best for a day of mountain biking, though. So that's the case with that. And then these 2 little things on the bottom. The thing is there's a lot of different, not only ability levels, but disability levels, and also a lot of different equipment. So what this rating system covers is what, like when I'm rating a trail, I ask myself, what will most riders experience here? based on the mean, the average rider. So it's kind of rated on a curve. And so this little plus sign changes that word most to all. For example, AMTB 1, most riders will not need support. And then when we add the little plus on there, it changes it to all riders will not need support. There's so subtle difference in wording, but a big difference in practical application. And then you guys ask me questions about this later if you want to. And then the X we added on there for advanced terrain, because there's something that might be wide open, no obstacles, you're probably not going to need support, but there's jumps or technical terrain on there. So that's why we added that on there. This has been super, and this doesn't exist on its own either. It exists with uncut video and a trail blog. And here's the signage. The symbol has been going, the first signage has started to go up in different trail areas, and it's super exciting because most people, like I said, don't do research before they go ride, and they rely on signage. So that's why this is a really big deal and really exciting to see happening. So there'll be different signs. There'll be signs like this that give the rating of a trail, and there'll be signs that identify ride-arounds, and sign like it'll be that bike symbol with a little arrow. This is becoming the symbol that's recognized as kind of like the general symbol for the universal symbol for adaptive mountain bike. There'll also be signs that identify routes that are recommended, a trail route that are recommended for adaptive bikes. Very, very exciting, very validating to be working so hard on something and to see it physically coming to fruition out in the world. That is pretty much it on the Trails project. I'm going to share a little video. This one's a little longer. This one's about 4 minutes. This is a little bit older video. You'll see I actually have hair, and I'm on one of my older bikes. But I really like this video because I talk about emotionally what it feels like to be out in nature. And some of the music might be kind of loud. I don't know if you want to adjust your volume or whatever. So enjoy.
Come up here for the winter, you stay for the summer. And I absolutely fall into that. I came up here because it was a really good snow year. They opened early in October, and that summer I found mountain biking and I fell in love with it. First got into mountain biking, it was all about the bike park. Then I slowly started to get out into the backcountry, and that's where I really fell in love with it. Just seeing things I never would have seen before. Emotional issue that I deal with on a daily basis, being paralyzed, is I feel claustrophobic. I cope with that by being out in nature. And I can imagine that you don't have to be in a chair to relate with that feeling, you know, daily life in the city or whatever. There's this sense of feeling small when you're out in the backcountry. So get way out there, go experience something new and different, kind of captivated by the grandeur of nature and how small and insignificant I am, really. And in those moments, I don't feel claustrophobic. I feel like the world is endless. It just keeps going and going and going, and there's so much to get to. And this machine gets me there. Well, with the help of very good friends.
Well, thanks for watching that, you guys. I'm also you're like, okay, all right, how do I get a bike now? I'm also the US dealer for Sport On. They're made in Poland, and they are one brand of a few. So there are other options out there. This is the one that I know the best, though. If you want to know more about the bikes, the website is jpmprosales.com. Definitely go check it out. But here are the different models that we have. This is where we get nitty gritty into the equipment. This is the cool part. I'm a total gear whore. I love this. I love the gear. I love the equipment. This is super fun for me. The bike that I ride is the Explorer 3. It's newly redesigned and is extremely capable. I cringe when I watch that video because that bike that I was on, that was my old bike. It did not have a power assist. I now have a power assist. My friends don't really need to push me over those rocks anymore. It's freaking awesome. That's the bike that I ride. That's the kind of that forward position. For those that are not so comfortable in that position, we have the G-Trike, which is full suspension, power assist, but upright position. Super cool piece of equipment. And then we have the XCR, which is more of like your, it's front wheel drive and no suspension. This is more of like your gravel bike and things like that, which gravel riding is super popular right now. It's huge for mostly for road bikers that have seen the light and now want to be off-road. This is the gravel riding is big for that. You're like, all right, cool, Jeremy, but I know that this stuff is super expensive and there's no way I could ever afford it. Wait, first, before I get to that, we do have cool innovations. For example, we have our quadriplegic setup. This is an elbow brake and elbow shifter. Super awesome, which can be mounted on the G-Trike or XCR. And now quadriplegics can go jump off rocks too. Pretty awesome. I love this setup. I actually have used it myself and it works pretty good. I like it. I mean, there's difficulty with anything living life with a spinal cord injury, and it's not the perfect thing, but quadriplegic can go jump off rocks basically with this.
Can I interject a question on the quad setup? So there's a debate on the direction of whether you push or pull on that quad brake, and it's been set up differently on different bikes we've seen. Is there a correct way, or is it preference on strength, whether it's a pull in with your elbow or versus push out with your elbow for that brake?
It's a matter of preference. But if the brakes are mounted right side up, the fluid is going to flow like it's supposed to. So if you end up, I can't remember which way, if it's out or in, where you have to flip the brakes upside down to make it work like that. That could potentially cause issues over time and sponginess, but it's a matter of preference whether you like it in or out. Yeah, it can go either way. It's made to go either way. Yep.
How's it currently set up in this image? Is that pull in or push out?
That is push in,
Okay.
pull in. You
Yeah.
can put your elbow over the side and kind
Perfect.
of chicken wing it. Yep.
Perfect,
Yep.
thank
Yep. And then that shifter is for the roll off. Now the roll off is a twist shifter only. And even with that, before we had this innovation, most of my quadriplegic customers still preferred to have the roll off and just not shift because it's so strong and robust, and use the motor to get up to speed. But now with these little additions to the outside of the shifter, you can push that with your elbow now. These little like rubber nipples on the outside of the shifter, pretty awesome. I just came in contact with an organization called Help Hope Live. If anybody wants one of these bikes or anything, a wheelchair, modifications to your home, you need to raise money for something, that's what this organization does. They connect you with an expert who's going to help you raise the money, and also you'll have the use of their nonprofit status. So anybody that donates to you can receive a tax deduction. This organization is awesome. This is step one. Go to Help Hope Live, and there's a button right on the homepage. It says get started. Click that, do their application process, and they'll connect you with an expert. We have a funding page on our website, and when you're at JPM Pro Sales, make sure you go to the click funding at the top. And here's what we advise. And then Help Hope Live is also going to help you with this stuff. After you get connected with them, start a funding page, whether it's GoFundMe or CrowdRise or any of those. Pick one of those, start a funding page, start blasting it out. No matter if you have a small community or a big community. I personally will post it on my stuff on Pavement. We'll blast it out for you. Start fundraising. Give people a place to go. And if you want some advice on how to format your page specifically, call me, text me, message me, whatever you want, as far as the type of photo, video, wording, things like that can help. I will totally help you do that. This is what I did when I got my first bike, that bike you saw in that video. This is what I did. It took me 2 years to get that bike. I didn't have Help Hope Live helping me. I did this all on my own. So I know from personal experience that it's totally possible. Organize a fundraising event with your community. If there's anybody out there that's a brand new injury, there's a lot of energy of people wanting to help surrounding you. Organize an event, take advantage of that energy, and for everybody. And it's just fun to get people together. And you can do it now, with appropriate guidelines, wearing masks, distance, have it outdoors. You can do all that stuff. You can do it virtual. There are options. What I did is I showed a bike movie at a bike shop, and I got different companies to donate raffle prizes. So we had an actual auction for the big prizes. We had a silent auction for kind of the smaller ones. Took straight donations, and then the bike shop offered to do a certain percentage for donation for if anybody bought anything. And we showed a movie, and between that and all these other things, I got enough money together for my bike. On that page, on that funding page, I have a list of all the organizations that I know of that provide grants for adaptive equipment. Apply for every single one of those for which you qualify. It's going to be work, but life is a fight. We want to get a bike, then it's going to take some work. That's what I did. I got a grant from the Challenge Athletes Foundation. They also helped. The biggest ones that help the most are the Kelly Brush Foundation, High Fives, and Challenge Athletes Foundation. Those are the three that are the biggest and give the most, and that we work with the most.
Jeremy,
In the
I would also interject too that if we do have some veterans that are on this call, so if you're a
oh,
veteran,
right.
may be eligible to go through the VA in order to receive funding for adaptive equipment. So I know for the Palo Alto VA, there's an individual, Debbie Pitch, who that is all she does is assistive technology. So that's where you have an opportunity to potentially get it through the VA as well. And then there's opportunities. Often, funders want to know that you've trialed and tried some of this equipment. So like looking at programs like City of Reno's adaptive rental program and coming and renting different things so that you have an idea of what exactly you want to order for, before you save all this money is a great idea as well.
That's really good advice. Yeah. And yeah, the VAs, they used to have a limit, but they've realized you gave your body to our country. You should be able to get whatever the hell you want. They're now realizing that. And we're definitely, every VA is different. Every VA has their process. We got to jump through a ton of hoops. It takes a long time, but they do it. And it can totally happen. It's just going to take some work. And for a lot of them, this is brand new. They're going to go, whoa, no way at first. But it's just a matter of education and showing them exactly what it is. And I'll help you through all that. But yeah, raising your own funds is really important. For me, in my experience, people are more apt to help if they know you've got skin in the game too, and that you're willing to do what it takes to get this done. So that is also a big part of it. This is how you keep in contact with me. Please, I work super hard. I work 12, 14, 16-hour days every day, doing this stuff for the Unpavement and the YouTube channel. So please subscribe, follow, comment, because I'm super sensitive. I have a fragile ego. And when people comment and say how much they like it, it really helps me. It seriously really helps me, and also helps the algorithm too. So that would be rad if you guys want to connect with me in any of these ways. So with that, I'm going to exit my screen share, and if you guys have some questions, I'm here.
Great. So we didn't have any questions typed in the chat. I know Jared put another suggestion for veterans because Challenge Athlete Foundation has the Operation Rebound, which is a veteran specific stream of funding through Challenge Athlete Foundation. But with that, if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to take yourself off mute and go ahead and ask Jeremy any questions you may have.
Hello.
Should make my intern Perry come up with a question. No, I see Jared's off mute. Go ahead.
Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you, bro?
Good, thanks. So your trail rating system, is that only SoCal area right now, or is that going kind of more nationwide? Is that getting absorbed or
Great question. It's worldwide. Trail Forks is international.
Nice.
And they've completely adopted it. It's nothing official, and there are other people doing similar things. This is different though in the simplification of it, in the fact that it does not exist on its own. But yeah, if you go on Trail Forks, and we're all about big data and in for the long game. I mean, the goal is to I'm actually currently documenting the trail, formalizing the trail documentation protocol, training ambassadors, and ambassadors are adaptive riders in different respective areas. And then the goal is to collect this data consistently over the course of 10 years so that adaptive riders can go on the app, and then, there's a good amount of information available. But right now you go on there, you look at a trail, odds are, if I haven't been there, that there's no information on it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So is there a way to go to the local area here, like Reno, Tahoe, and have them, rate their own trails and submit that to Forks?
Absolutely, yeah. Do you happen to be an adaptive rider?
I am, yeah.
What's your last name, Jared? Do I know you?
Evans, yeah.
I know you. It's Jared Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a G-Trek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we need to do once I am in the position to train ambassadors, to get you all trained up, and then you get a Trail Forks login. And it's not just Trail Forks anymore. It's actually a lot of work. The post trail work, our trail work is online. That's how we give back to our trails as adaptive riders. And so it's actually a lot of work, especially when you're involving video and things like that. But yeah, you log into Trail Forks, now single tracks, MTB project, all trails, and then input that information. Yep.
Okay, cool. I'd be into that.
Oh, that's really cool to hear. We'd be stoked to have you on, man.
Anyone else have any questions for Jeremy? I know there's some folks on here that maybe like, is there pros, cons as far as the types of mountain bikes, like G-Trike versus the positioning of the Explorer, like injury level wise, or considerations of like what the difference is of being in a more upright versus kind of prone position, if somebody's first time looking at getting into adaptive mountain biking?
You asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, one, it's a matter of preference. The general perception is that the Explorer is for lower level paraplegics and the G-Trike is for, higher level paraplegics and quadriplegics. But that's not necessarily the case. It's a matter of preference. I know a handful of lower level paraplegics that have G-Trike, one in the Reno Tahoe area, Bill Boness, who is the best sit skier to ever live. And is a super. What's that?
He's my neighbor too.
I want to be more like that. I want to be more like that guy. He's rad. I totally admire him and look up to him. Well, there's riders like him. He's is he T10, 11, 12? He's low level. He rides a G-Trek and he's a badass. He's just more comfortable. He just likes it better. I'll tell a story about that guy. I used to live in Mammoth and teach a majority of the sit ski lessons that came through the adaptive program there. And he was there doing instructor training, teaching the instructors how to teach mono skiing, sit skiing. And so we're on the bunny slope. I think I'm cool because I got a big old fat ski on, and I'm trying to do, we're working on our beginner level rotary turn demos. So I'm trying to do rotary turns on this huge fat ski and I'm really struggling. And he skis past me, turns around, is skiing switch backwards and talking to me with his hands. So he doesn't have his outriggers on the snow. He is skiing switch without his hands, talking to me, focused on what I'm doing, not on his skiing. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. Anyways, so the point is that he's a low level paraplegic in a G-Trike. It's a matter of preference. I had a guy try my bike the other day and he's a low level too. And he had tons of spasms and a lot of spasticity. And he was having a really hard time just getting his legs to fold back like that. There's a ton of different reasons. It's a matter of trying it, the biggest thing the difference between like the Explorer and the G-Trike versus the XCR is full suspension. The Explorer and G-Trike are full suspension. XCR has no suspension. And also rear wheel drive versus front wheel drive. If you got a concept of the G-Trike and Explorer are rear wheel drive, XCR is front wheel drive. If you got a concept of physics at all, or can just imagine the application of that on the trail, rear wheel drive, you're going to be able to get a lot more places. Front wheel drive is going to spin out on you on anything steep or loose or technical. So that's kind of the differences there. That's why that bike is really good for gravel riding and things like that.
All right, so any last questions before we wrap up today? All right, Jeremy, I want to thank you for your time today and for sharing your passion for adaptive mountain biking and the equipment and the trail system. I know we're excited here in Reno Tahoe area to build and continue to develop adaptive mountain biking in our area. So I appreciate you sharing your passion.
I'm stoked. Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
All right, thank you.
Adios, everybody.